think about this. You want to make sure that you have the number in place and understand what you have. And we're going to talk about your finances here next. All right, so next we want to map out your budget and your finances. Now, we have some rules before you buy a house of some things that you need to make sure that you are accomplishing. And these rules are things that are going to help protect you, especially if financial freedom is your goal. Financial independence is what a lot of folks listening to this podcast are trying to achieve or have achieved. And so if that is part of your goal, you want to make sure that the numbers fall in to line. So I'm going to give you first the most important one, which is to make sure that your housing costs are 30% or less of your income. Now, this is one of those areas that a lot of people are like, well, is it 30% or less of just my mortgage, or is it all of my housing costs? No, this is going to be all of your housing costs need to be 30% or less of your income. And so when you're running the numbers, you need to think about, hey, what is the insurance? What are the taxes? What are the maintenance? What is my mortgage? What is the interest? What is all of this stuff going to be costing me? It needs to be 30% or less. If anybody out there listening to this podcast right now, let's say, for example, that their housing costs are 38% of their income, I can guarantee a couple of different things. One, either you are financially stressed. You may be arguing with your spouse about money. And a lot of times you're arguing about these small little purchases. Maybe your spouse goes to Starbucks, gets a coffee every single day, and you start arguing about that specific purchase. But instead, what's really happening is the big picture is that your housing is eating away at all your extra money.